All right, y'all. Today we got this pretty girl. She was infected with HIV. Let's hear what she got to say.
A lot of people want to know what happened after the night that I met the man that intentionally infected me with HIV. I met the man that infected me with
Intentionally is
HIV
wicked.
March 12th, 2019. About 3 weeks after, I began to get sick. I had horrible cold sweats. I had rashes all over my body. I would
This
wake
sounds
up
terrible.
completely fine, and then, like 2 hours into my day, a fever, cold sweats, rash.
He was on a mission to make sure this channel doesn't blow up, y'all. So I need you guys to please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified anytime that I upload. Click all. Excuse me. Join the Discord. Also, it's the road to 200 subs. Please hit the subscribe button, man. We need it right now. Unfortunately, YouTube's not showing the videos the way it needs to, and 80% of the subscribers, I mean, the people who watch the channel are not subscribed. So if you guys could please hit that subscribe, and let's get back into it.
Vomiting, diarrhea. It's just like a cycle. It would happen over and
Jeez.
over again. I went to urgent care.
You know what I find is wild about this? That it's kind of hard to have any type of sympathy for the situation. I mean, I'm glad that the creator was willing to come out and tell everybody, and she seems like she's coping with it however she can. Regardless, though, it's like how many people did she skip past to get to the dude who infected her with HIV? How many people, how many men did she turn down that would have given her a positive life experience and not given her a sexually transmitted disease? And I understand that, beauty is subjective and so is attraction to some degree, but it's like at the same time, choices that you make have horrendous um consequences sometimes.
3 times. And every single time that I went, they sent me away. They tested me for everything under the sun except HIV. That was my man. Anyway, I go to the hospital
Well,
three
found love
times. The
still.
hospital in my area also has an urgent care, so the urgent care was connected to the hospital. They're actually shut down now, so I'm not surprised. I don't even know if I had enough viral load in my system to even test positive, but it is a little frustrating to know that I went to the professionals and they didn't even test me for that. So time goes by, about 3.5 weeks of me being
Insanity,
so
man.
freaking sick. I lose about like 15 pounds during that time. I was working out pretty intensely, so I lost all of my gains. It was actually really, really sad. I did.
It's crazy to think this lady is gorgeous, by the way. Um, I mean, you would never suspect that she had anything like that. I don't know what a person with HIV looks like, so whatever. Regardless, though, like that's some wicked stuff going on right here. And to think that the person did it on purpose is that's crazy. I'm pretty sure that they had some type of legal action that you could do if somebody like that person's supposed to go to prison or something like that if they do that, knowing that they have that. So
Detoxes. I jumped on a call with Queen Afua. I can't even begin to explain to you how petrified I was for my health. And more so that like they weren't diagnosing me with anything. Where was the guy that infected me during this time? At this point, we're already in a relationship. Full-blown relationship. He's telling me that he loves me and all these things, and I'm over here believing it. We were having unprotected intercourse this entire time. As I'm at the hospital, he's like begging me to come over, like, please come over, like, let me take care of you. And I'm just like, no, like, I don't want you to get what I have. Like, I don't want to get you sick. And his words were literally, don't worry, babe, you can't get me sick. We're already about
wow.
like 5 months into the relationship. It's a horrible relationship, let me tell you. Like, it's really traumatic.
By the way,
Throughout
no
this time,
no
he's really sick. I'm already feeling a little bit better, but one thing that I
the dude definitely don't get off the hook on this. Like he's a foul individual for this. I don't care what you say, what you were going through in life, why you felt maybe she was the baddest person you ever seen and you wanted to get that and don't tell her what. None of that makes sense. Like none of that makes sense. Dude should still be in prison for this. This is crazy. This is like attempted murder.
I noticed is that I wasn't gaining weight. So even though the rash and the fever and things like that stopped, a few symptoms persisted. One of which is that I could not gain weight. I was in a perpetual state of weight loss or maintenance. No matter how much I ate, I could not gain a pound. Number two was that I was pretty much tired all the time. The third thing was that I always had a yeast infection. I was on BV medication,
Ugh.
clindamycin, Vagisil, all of that, and nothing made it go away. I was monogamous. I was only with him. And so that was very odd to me. And another thing that like really stood out to me that kind of was like a red flag was that it always hurt to have intercourse. One day
That's
in
scary business, man.
August, I decided that I was going to go to the clinic because I didn't have insurance, so I couldn't go to the doctor. I was like, well, the clinic is free. So I'm gonna go to the clinic and I'm gonna tell them what's going on with this yeast infection. I go to the clinic, and the day before I go, I have this like gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach, like in my spirit. And I'm like, I know that after I go to the clinic, I'm not gonna be the same. My ex,
Oh
the
no,
person that
man. I can't
intentionally
even
infected
imagine
me,
going through this
he
nonsense.
was not monogamous to me. Like, there wasn't actual proof, but I knew for a fact that he wasn't. It's possible that maybe he did give me something, but I had no idea that I was going to be HIV. And so I go, and I've been tested before. I got tested the day before I met him. So I was like, okay, like they're gonna take my blood, they're gonna do the rapid HIV test, they're gonna tell me that I can go home, and I'm gonna have to await my results, and hopefully everything comes back negative. How about I'm waiting for my HIV rapid
Crazy
test
work.
results and they call my number? Literally, my heart sinks. Immediately, I'm met with a doctor and like a lady who ended up being a social worker. They sat me down and they're like, we just want to let you know that you've tested positive for HIV. I felt like I was in a twilight zone in a little bit. I was like, They were like, not to worry. I do have to take my blood and send it over to a lab in order to get confirmatory results because it is a possibility
Crazy,
that
bro.
it could be a false positive. They started asking me, is there anything that has stood out to you about how you've been feeling or your
That's wild, man. If you really think about it, man, in the blink of an eye, her entire life trajectory changed. Like, she went from being a healthy person, had a whole future ahead of her. I'm not saying that you can't live with HIV, but I guarantee it makes your life a lot more difficult, especially if you can't get a hold of the medicines or you don't have the medical insurance to get the medicines. So yeah, she's okay now. But if something changes in her life, she could not be okay. Is the point that I'm trying to make. So yeah, this is real unfortunate.
body. The moment that they asked me that, I was just like, there is no point in sending my blood over to the lab to get confirmatory results. I know for a fact that this is what it is. Finally, something explains what I was going through. Something that the doctors told me when I was really sick during the acute stage was that I had a viral infection and that I just had to let it play out its course. That's why they couldn't give me antibiotics, because antibiotics is for a bacterial infection. They just didn't know that it was HIV. They asked me the list of like the last 5 people that you've been with, been in a relationship this entire time. And, I got tested the day before I met him. And then after I
Mm-mm.
started sleeping with him, I got extremely sick. Everything changed once you met this person. So we need to get this person's information in order to contact him so that he could come in and get
Yeah, I wanna.
tested. I basically
Yeah, I wanna
refused to give
know.
them his information because I felt like I had to protect him.
Okay, that's wild. That's why I don't care what nobody says. Is this Stockholm syndrome like 2.0? You had to protect him. You talking about the person who didn't protect you? And I'm not saying like I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't know this lady, but I'm just saying like just thinking from a point of view where I'm just an average human being. So you're willing to go to great lengths to protect somebody's identity, and we're not talking about like the whole world's gonna know. We're talking about a medical facility, and they did this to you. I don't know, man. This story ain't adding up to me. Maybe it's I don't know. That sounds crazy. Now I'm starting to think maybe he didn't give it to her. 'Cause that's crazy.
Something that a lot of people don't understand unless they've actually been in a relationship with a narcissist. So in my mind, I'm like, no, he
Oh,
would
there
really
goes the
want me to
buzzword.
like protect him and let him come to this decision on his own instead of being bombarded. Even though I knew that he infected me with HIV, at that point, I really didn't think that it was intentional. I thought that he cared about me so much that he would never put me in a situation like that. I go home and they basically tell him the news, and he was not surprised. He was not shocked. He was
Of
like,
course not.
okay. Our biggest arguments were never about, other women that I suspected. It was always me begging him to go to the doctor, me begging him to go get tested, me begging him to get put on medication. Anytime that I brought it up, he would accuse me of being negative and bringing negative energy around him. He had a lot of things going on in his life at that time, so the last thing I wanted
Too many
was to
red
like
flags, man.
distract him with negative things. But I'm just like, this is reality. It's not something that we can escape. In my mind,
You're talking about you inconveniencing somebody else, but that person not only gave you HIV, continues to burden you with their own inability to want to make sure that they're okay after the fact. Like, this is, I don't know, man. That sounds like too much. Obviously, eventually they split or whatever the case might be. But I'm gonna leave this here. You guys can check out the video in the comments. I mean, in the I'll leave it in the link in the bio. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload. Click all and join the Discord, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.